today on VIP TV, a bit of what I used to call him boxing royalty, but I'll call him wrestling royalty. Now it's 2012 Olympic bronze medalist, Anthony Ogogo. Anthony, it's great to see you doing well, because I know the heartbreak that happened when your boxing career fell through. Last time we spoke, we were talking about Tony Khan and meeting him at a Fulham match. That was almost 2 years ago today, around this time.
It was, yeah, it was.
Here you are, 2 years later, a pay-per-view star. How's that come about so quick?
Mad, mate, it's madness. It was just over 2 years ago. I think it was May 22nd or 23rd.
Yeah,
so
it was the last game of the season.
Yeah, it was against Newcastle. I text Tony the picture of me and him. I said to him, 2 years ago. He said, "You know, Peony Zahavi, that super agent." He said, "That's him in the background. I never knew that's him." Yeah, but that was mate. It's been a mad couple of years. It's been a mad couple of years. But as you mentioned, mate, and I was quite open about the difficulties that I faced in that period. And I dug in. I hung on in there, and I'm really proud to say that I came out the other end, and now I'm here. And I've genuinely got a second crack at living a dream. And it's funny how life works sometimes. I genuinely thought, every fibre of my being, I thought I was going to become a middleweight world champion and box on pay-per-view and earn loads of money and whatnot. And unfortunately, like, life happens sometimes out of our control, and I couldn't control that. And I was down and out. And it's just funny how that I am actually appearing on a huge pay-per-view on Sunday, doing something totally different to what I thought I'd ever do. But madly enough, like as you know, Steve, we spoke at length. Like, my boxing career was cut short, and it was cruel. It was cruelly taken away from me, and it would have been much better for me. My last fight in 2016 had my eye just exploded, and I'm basically blind on my left eye. I'm 78% blind on my left eye now, and it'd be better for me if my eye just went that night, done, and I could never box again. And I didn't spend those 3 years having 9 surgeries and doing all the vision therapy that I did. And it was so slow and so cruel, my dream. It'd have been better if it was just instant and I had no choice, but now I've got to move on. But the 3 cruel years, it would have been easier that way, but I learned a lot. Now I'm out of the struggle. I can look back and see that I learned a lot in those 3 years. And thankfully, I did go through the 3 years, because in those 3 years, AEW became a thing. Tony Khan got involved in the wrestling business, and me ending my boxing career and the formation of AEW literally was hand in hand. I retired officially March 11th, 2019. AEW's first show, I met Cody the next month. I met Tony Khan the month after that. And AEW's first show was May 25th, 2019. So yeah, it's almost like one thing ended and one thing started. And I'm in a good place, mate. I'm in a good place.
Just one question about your eye before we go on to your wrestling career. How much do you have to protect it in the wrestling ring? Because I imagine, it's still it's sports entertainment, but this is dangerous stuff you're partaking in.
Oh goodness, 100%. Like, I'm sitting here now. I'm not even. This isn't a. Oh, it's a bit sore, so I'm going to pretend I broke it. This is 100% honest. In the wrestling business, we call this a shoot. A shoot means it's real. I've broken my rib. Like, my back is fucked. Like, the back rib. I took a big move yesterday. I did a move to an opponent. I'm practicing an elbow drop that I want to learn and incorporate into my repertoire. Did an elbow drop. I hit it wrong. Rather than my elbow landed on him, my back of my rib landed on his shoulder. Big, strong, 18-stone man. He drove his shoulder into the back of my rib, and I've cracked the back of my rib. So sitting here now, I'm sitting slunched, because if I do this, it's really painful. So that'll be interesting on Sunday to navigate this. My first wrestling match with a broken rib. But listen, I fought the whole Olympics with a broken rib, so I'm used to injuries. I'm used to kind of persevering and stuff. But go back to the eye. Yeah, I got to protect it a lot. I wrestled a lad called Austin Gunn last Wednesday on Dynamite, and he jumped me. He sneak attacked me, He got me in the corner and he was jabbing me. And I covered my face. And this isn't fake. This isn't make believe. This is me covering. I'm leaving my whole body exposed. So I'm covering my left eye because as of now, I've got 22% vision in my left eye. That cannot get any worse because I can only drive a car because I have some vision in my left eye. With no vision in my left eye, I've got no depth perception. I don't know the car is 6 inches away or 6 feet away. I can't drive. Wrestling's already hard. With one good eye, wrestling's already hard. But with only one eye full stop, it's become nigh on impossible. So to the level that I'm doing that. So yeah, I've got to protect it a lot. And I literally, when I'm in the ring, I protect my left eye like my life depends on it, because my life doesn't depend on it, but the way I'm going to live my life, the rest of my hopeful long life, does depend on how I protect his eye. So yeah, it's problematic, but I knew that coming into it, but I made a vow to myself that my eye injury took away my first love, took away boxing from me, and I refuse to let this injury take away something else that I love. So I'm going to make the most of it.
Tell us about this character you've become with the Union Jack, body punching them, draping. I mean, I don't watch a lot of wrestling, but I follow you because, you know, I've known
Good.
you, and brilliant when you tuck them in with the Union Jack.
Yeah.
It's fantastic. The character. How have you become so popular? So, okay, a popular heel, should we say, so quickly? Is it your... I mean, wrestling fans might look at this and think, what's he asking? Is it your wrestling skills, or is it because how well you've sold the character and developed it, and how you're evolving it with every Wednesday night show to get on the pay-per-view against Cody, where there's the jingoism and everything?
Yeah. Well, it's an interesting one because like I don't feel like I'm playing a character, because I'm not. Like everything I do, I'm very authentic. And like I've never been asked to say anything. I've never ever been given a script to read when I've done a promo, when I got on the mic. I speak from the heart. And I did this promo. Reason why people like so Americans generally piss me off. Genuinely, they annoy me. Americans generally, and I'm talking to you now as a Brit, right? We all know that guy at Waterloo train station. We're sitting there minding our own business, and some stupid yank is on his phone talking really loud, like he's the most important person in Waterloo. Like, we all know that guy, but we all know when people, and it annoys me. And Americans bug me about some things, and they bug me because a lot of Americans
Go on,
think that America is the greatest country in the world, and that notion pisses me off because so much bad stuff happens here. And what annoys me about Americans is like, listen, I'm the most proud Brit in the world. I love Britain. We did some bad stuff back in the day. We do bad things now still. There's some bad things back in the day. And I can appreciate that. And I love us regardless, but I can appreciate that was really bad. Like, and maybe when, like, I love Great Britain. We're not the best country in the world. We're not. Yeah. Like, there are other countries and different things we're great in some things, but like Scandinavia is the best place to live apparently in the world. And I can appreciate that. And I love us. Like, it's like your wife, or not your wife or my wife, but like you have a wife, maybe she's not as slim as she was in her 20s, but you love her anyway. You love her more because of her imperfections. Americans, like, they think America's the greatest country in the world, and there's so much bad stuff happens here, and it bugs me. And I've just come out and spoken. I've just said, look, I don't like America for these reasons. And I've been very open. I did a promo recently where I spoke about the healthcare. I said it's disgusting that people think this is the greatest country in the world, but right now, and this happened to me last week, and that's why I spoke about it, is because people in America are left to rot and die on the street because they can't afford healthcare, because they got to make a decision. Do I go and get this thing tested? It's going to cost me 20 grand, 30 grand, 50 grand, and I can't afford it, or do I just lie here and die? And that happens now. Like, to the point where I might get told off for saying this, but I'm going to say it anyway because I'm very authentic and real. I train very hard, as you know, Steve. I train my ass off. I train my nuts off. I was in Florida a couple of weeks ago. I was killing myself, training for this big pay-per-view match, getting in shape in the heat. I went back home to where I was staying. I started feeling really faint. I don't feel faint. I don't ever feel anything. Like, I'm quite like tough dude, right? And I thought, this is weird. And I started getting really woozy. I stood up and I went to fall down. And I thought, this isn't good. So I rang in the ambulance, right? And I went to the hospital. And then done all these tests on me. And then my insurance doesn't work. My insurance lasts for X amount of days, and I've been in America for too long, so my insurance won't cover this thing. And done all these tests on me, and they done all my heart and my stuff, and I was okay. They said, we think it's severe dehydration. And I thought it can't be, because as a middleweight, I was always dehydrated, making weight. I said, well, it's different. You haven't made weight now for 5 years, so it's like it's different, and we think everything's okay. They said, do you want a CT scan? Now, as you know, my mum had a brain aneurysm back in London,
Olympics,
before the Olympics, and she had what happened with my mum. She had a small bleed in her brain, and she was like lost, when all disorientated, and she couldn't talk, and she's on a sofa and she's kind of dribbling, and she was like in a really, really bad way. And my stepdad was like, what's going on? And she was able to talk, but not really. And that was the blood vessel first starting to bleed, and that's first like blood was first spewing out of the blood vessel. And then 10 minutes, about half an hour later, boom, the big pop happened. The blood vessel went, poof. She fell into a coma, and she's in a coma for months and months and months. And thankfully, she survived it, and she's making a fantastic recovery. And talking to my mum, I was talking to her, and I said many times since the incident, she's like regaled me with what happened. And she said, I felt really weird for 10, 20 minutes. I felt really weird. I couldn't talk, and I just life is weird. And my mum doesn't drink. Like, basically, she was really, really drunk, and she doesn't drink. So, and anyway, when I was in this motion, when I was in this time, I'm thinking, my head's gone to fuck. I feel like what my mum talks about, what she felt like before the aneurysm come on. So obviously now panicking, thinking, I'm gonna have a brain aneurysm. I'm now gonna have a brain aneurysm. Hence, I went to the hospital. I thought, I'm now gonna pop, and I want to be in a safe space. So they said to me, Mama, any history? I explained my mum. They said, do you want to get a CT scan? They asked me. And I said, I'm not sure my insurance is going to cover it. How much is it going to cost me? She went, 15 grand. Oh, that's a lot of money. So they said, look, we don't think it's your brain, because we see it all the time, aneurysms, and normally they're much older and you're very fit and healthy. And they said, if it was your brain, it probably would have went by now. We don't think it's your brain, but if you want to get a test done, get a scan done to make sure when you can. And I thought, I want to get a scan done, but I don't want to spend 15 grand on something if it said to me it's just dehydration. So anyway, I said, you know what? I rolled the dice with my own life. I went, you know what? I'm just not going to bother. And I left, and I thought, I like me. I value my life. And I've just put 15 grand over my life, because there could have been, thankfully, touch wood, it wasn't. It was just dehydration. I was severely dehydrated and stuff. I had an IV, and now I'm fine. But it could have been aneurysm, right? And thankfully, I've got 15 grand in my account, so I could have paid for it. I just didn't want to pay for it. But there's so many thousands upon thousands of single parents out there, people from underprivileged backgrounds out there that'll be in my situation, and they actually can't afford the test. So they won't have the scan, they'll go away. And unfortunately, there'll be people out there who will die of a brain aneurysm because they didn't get a test. And obviously, where we're from, listen, England, Great Britain, we're great in some things, not so good in other things. But what I'm so proud of is no matter where you're from, if you're on 100 grand a year, if you're on the dole, doesn't matter who you are, you go to hospital, you get tests, you get scans, you get this, you get that, and the great NHS nurses and doctors look after our people, because nothing is more important in life than health. And in this place, in my opinion, they value money more than they value health. So I did this promo recently, and they said to me, you're wrestling Cody at the pay-per-view, right? You got a 2-minute window. They said, no, big up the match. No, call Cody out, call him whatever you want to call him, and tell us why you hate America. Didn't give me any script. Didn't tell him to say anything. Like, fair enough, fine. And I just spoke from the heart, and I said, I hate how people value money here more than wealth, more than health. And I said, I hate how, something I learned this recently, that immigrants come to America and the government take away the kids from the immigrants and lock the kids in cages. I spoke about that, so I've done research into it, and that's disgusting. And I said those two things, and that's why I hate America. And I hate the notion that this place is so great, because there's bad things happen here. And obviously it's not the citizens' fault, but please acknowledge that, And I've done this promo. And hard about some people were like, "How dare you? It's our country. I love this place." Blah, blah, blah. Piss off back to England, and most people were like, "Yeah, man's got a point. He's got a point. That's not cool. That's really bad. That shouldn't happen in the country so Western and civilized as this country." So why are people liking me? I don't know. I mean, people, and also my story, like it's a Hollywood movie without the ending, and hopefully this chapter will give me the ending. Like I've been up, I've been down, I've had things ripped away from me, and I think I've got a true underdog story where no matter what the adversity I've faced, I've always got up. I've never just swallowed it. I've never just gone, I'm going to give up and go down the pub and get pissed. I've always said, like, there is a better day. Tomorrow will be a better day. Even after my darkest days, you always think tomorrow is going to be a better day. And I think it's quite inspiring, and people who know my story can get behind that, because it's hard to, you can like me or not, you can like the way I talk, the way I look, the way I dress, I don't really care. But the essence of me, like what I'm all about, it's hard to not like that, you know? I think that's how people like me. But ultimately, I'm a bad guy. And on Sunday, I'm going to punch Cody's head in, and I will drape him with my flag again, and in front of the whole 5,500 people and the hundreds of thousands, maybe millions watching around the world, I'll give USA one of them.
Just a couple more questions before we let you go. So I know you're getting ready for, you might be training, you're getting ready for your big match on Sunday. Has wrestling filled the void of boxing now?
Do you know what? It's beginning to. It's beginning to. I mean, like, I was a boxer. I've always, the hardest thing for me was losing it. Like I said, I lost it so cruelly over 3 long, devastating years with 9 surgeries. And I was always Anthony Ogogo, the boxer. From 12 years old, I was Anthony Ogogo, the boxer, the boxer, the boxer. So everywhere I go, the boxer, the Olympic boxer, the pro boxer, the this, the that. Occasionally they go, "Oh, the guy from the Subway adverts." Occasionally I get the Subway advert guy. It's always the boxer. And then have that taken from me, that hurt. And I'm trying to find there's no identity. And I'm learning now. I've done interviews all day today, and it's in the interviews. That's why I like doing these interviews, because I learn about me. I thought I was never the boxer. Like, I was never Anthony Ogogo, the boxer. I was always Anthony Ogogo, full stop. Like, boxing is what I did, wasn't who I was. And wrestling is what I do now. It's not who I am, you know? So is it filling the void? It's beginning to. The big nights. So what I love about wrestling, is it's every week. Like, I've been in this storyline with Cody for 12 weeks on the spin. So every week I get to go to the TV and do something new, and cut a new promo, or beat somebody up, or wrestle. It's every week. And like, it's just good. It's fun. It's nice. And as a boxer, I was very unfortunate with injuries. But even the best boxers who aren't unfortunate with injuries, they fight twice a year, maybe 3 times. There's a lot of inactivity, a lot of waiting for the fight. I get to wrestle each week, wrestle every other week, and then I get to do a pay-per-view every 4 times a year, a big match like Sunday's a big one. So yeah, it's beginning to it. And for me, like, there's things I want to do after wrestling when I'm a little bit older and I'm not as limber in the ring. I want to retire on top of wrestling and go into maybe acting. And for me, wrestling is that perfect. It's boxing's here. It's true sport, the truest of all the true sports. Acting is here. For me, wrestling's bang in the middle. There's so many elements of true sport, so many elements of theatre as well. So for me, it's just a perfect stepping stone for what I want to do when I turn 40 in 8-9 years time. So yeah, it is. In short, it is. Thank you.
And just final one, how's Tony Khan? I mean, have you been watching any football with him?
Yeah, so we watched the Spurs game. Must have been the Revolution pay-per-view, maybe back in February.
No, Spurs Fulham, yeah.
Yeah, at your place, and then we watched it together. You got the iPad out. We were sitting watching the game, and obviously, it's squeaky bum time, February. That's where you stay up, or it's where you go down. And we're sitting there all around us, and then you boys, you scored, and then Tony, and he celebrated, and because he was so happy, he loves it. Like, if I was a Fulham fan, I'm a Norwich fan, and I know Adelia Smith, she loves Norwich. Michael Wynne-Jones, they love Norwich, and that's great, because when the owner loves the club, like, it makes you don't mind spending £40 a ticket, knowing that they love it as much as you. Tony's the exact same. Like, there's a lot of American owners get a lot of stick because Like they're in it for the business. Like Tony loves the club, man. I'll tell you how much he loves the club. We're there. You boys score a goal. I'm next to him. He accidentally, he's so excited. He elbows me so hard. The point of his elbow smashes my sternum. I can barely breathe. He's celebrating. Everyone's dancing. I'm winded. We sat there. Everyone's happy. It got disallowed. And he was just, it was like he missed the last minute penalty. He was so dejected, seeing the goal get disallowed. Like, honestly, mate, like as I told you before, like, as a Fulham fan, when you've got an owner that cares as much as that, generally cares about the football, and he lives it. He lives with you boys. Like you'd have been the same watching the goal disallowed.
Yeah, I remember I was watching the game. Yeah,
man. So you know, he's a great dude, and I genuinely mean he's a great dude. He's a great boss. As I said, AEW is his thing, and not once has he ever said to me, "You must say this in the promo." It's like, well, you've got 2 minutes to go and say what you want, and that freedom. And it's not even like, so Chris Jericho is one of our biggest stars. He's been wrestling for 30 years. So he knows how to do a promo. He's done it for 30 years. He knows it. He knows wrestling inside and out. I'm brand new. I have no idea. So I could make a massive dick of myself. I could say the wrong thing. But yeah, he trusts me as a person to go and say, no, cut this promo. Perfect. And it's like, and you know, and that's great because I can be me. And fans can either like me or don't like me. But at least you're liking me or not liking me because of me, rather than not liking me or not because I've done a script badly, if that makes sense. So yeah, mate, it's going really well. I'm in a really happy place in my life. I'm dying to get back to England. I want to see my wife, I want to see my mum and my family. I'm dying to get back, but no, yeah, I'm doing well, and I can't wait till Sunday to beat Cody Rhodes up at Double or Nothing.
Well, you know what? Thanks for talking to me today, Anthony. I mean, I only catch up with you a couple of times a year now. I used to see you all the time, but I'm really pleased that it's working well out there for you. And long may it can continue, because I know what you went through when boxing was cruelly taken away from you through, well, not through any fault of your own at all. It was quite savage what happened to you. So I'm glad it's going well. So thanks for talking to me today. And thanks for Danny Kurth, who does your PR over there for AEW, for sorting out this interview. Thank you very much. Cheers, mate. Cheers, Steve. Take care, mate. Speak to you soon. For all boxing info, news and latest interviews, amateur and pro, across the north, click and subscribe. VIP Boxing Promotions. Also, Twitter, Instagram and Facebook.